Right, so whilst our pastry is in the fridge, we are going to sort out our filling for our quiche Lorraine. So we've got some streaky bacon, smoked streaky bacon. It's up to you if you want to use smoked or plain. We've got some chopped onions, some garlic and some rosemary, and we've got some grated cheese. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to sweat the bacon and the onions off, okay, until they are cooked. And obviously we need to cool them down, okay, ready to put into our pastry case. All right, so that's what we're going to do. We've got ourselves a frying pan with oil. We're going to add our bacon first. So our bacon's in, we'll add our onions and our garlic and our herbs. And we just put this down to cook, okay? So we want just a little bit of colour but not a lot. Okay, but we need to cook the onions till they're soft. Right, so the bacon and onions and the garlic has sweated down nicely, it's all nice and soft. I'm just going to put it onto a nice flat tray just to cool it down quicker, okay? And just spread it onto a nice metal tray and it'll cool down much quicker, and then we can use it for our filling for our quiche. Okay, so I'm going to leave that to cool, then I'm going to roll out my pastry in a minute. Right, so we're going to roll out our pastry, okay? So I just got the pastry out the fridge. It's now nice and cold. Okay, I'm going to take it out of the plastic. Okay, so it's already in a nice circle already. Okay, I've got that's going to be my quiche mold. Okay, so this is a ring. Whenever you're trying to make a round, you know, if you're rolling out some round pastry, make sure you chill it round. There's no point having a square and then trying to make it round, okay? We need a little bit of flour. We do not need a lot of flour. So a little bit on the bottom, a little bit on the top. And what we're going to do is we're going to roll from the middle out. Every time we roll, we're going to move it, okay? The problem is people roll out pastry too much and it sticks to the bench normally, okay? But what we want is a nice round circular shape, okay? So if I roll it once, move it quarter, roll it once, move it quarter again, it's going to keep in a round shape, okay? But if I roll it one way, it's going to turn into a rectangle. And also now I know where I'm moving it, it's starting to stick a little bit, so I'm just going to move it to one side, put a bit more flour on the bottom. Make sure it's nice and free, move it around, use your hands, and we're going to carry on rolling out until we get the desired thickness that we need for our quiche. But always going from the middle out, okay? If not, you're going to end up with a big chunky middle that we don't really want. And then keep moving, okay? So it's nice and free. We've got a lovely shape, we've got a nice circle. And use your fingers, go around the outside, feel if you've got some thick bits. I can feel that there's a bit thick here and a bit thick here. So I'm just going to put a bit of pressure on the outside. Again, hands underneath, move it around, feel it. There's a thick bit there. I'm just going to quickly give it a roll. Right, I think we're there. Okay, so we've got our mould. We'll put it on. We've got loads of room for our sides. Okay. Right, so our pastry's ready. I'm just going to roll it up on a rolling pin, nice and gently, just so I can move it to one side, and then I can bring in my baking sheet with my tart ring. Okay, so it's been buttered, and then we're going to get our pastry and gently put it on top. Okay, so put it on top first. Make sure it's centered. Okay, we haven't got a lot of pastry in one piece. We're just going to move it a little bit. And now what we're going to do is we're going to gently tuck it in. Okay, just let the pastry fall in gently, okay, and just give it a little bit of a push onto the side, just so it doesn't fall right in. Okay, so we're just letting the pastry sink in gently. All right, a little push on the outside just to stick it to the ring. There we go. Right, so the pastry's now in. Now we can just go around with our thumbs we can push the base in, okay, and then what we can start doing is just start making sure our pastry is right at the bottom of the ring, okay, and then start pushing it against the sides of the ring to make sure it's all nice and even, there's no big creases, okay. And I'm just going to push it on the top, just so it folds down, just so I can see inside the ring. Okay, and our pastry is nice and flush to the bottom. And I'm just going to get a knife. Just going to get a knife and I'm going to trim the excess off on the outside of the ring. Okay, so we're not going on the top of the ring because it's going to shrink a little bit when the pastry cooks. Okay, and then if there's any excess on there at the end, we can always trim it off with a nice sharp knife. But I'd rather have enough pastry than not enough. Okay, so then we'll just put the excess to one side. Then what this gives me the opportunity is, there's a little bit on the outside that I can just build up. Okay, just so we got a bit of extra pastry. So I can see there's a bit too much here. So when it cooks, and obviously the pastry will naturally shrink a little bit, but we're gonna have our filling inside as well. That should come down level with the dish. All right, so that is our savoury pastry case. It's gonna go in the fridge for a little while to chill off again, and then we're gonna add our filling. Right, so now we're gonna sort our filling out for our quiche, okay? So I've got 10 whole eggs. We're going to whisk them up first, just to mix them up nicely. I'm not going to add any more salt because I've tasted my bacon, it's quite salty, okay? So we're then going to add our cooled bacon and onion mixture to our eggs. Transfer my whisk. I'm just going to fold, mix my bacon and onion mixture through my eggs, just to make sure it's well incorporated. Okay. And then I'm going to add half of my cheese as well, leaving some for the top. And just making sure it's, you know, well mixed, and there's a bit of cheese everywhere, a bit of bacon everywhere. So our mix is all ready. Okay, I'm just going to pull my tart case in. Okay, it's come out of the fridge. I'm just going to pull my egg, bacon, cheese mixture into my case. Okay, I'm not blind baking my case because it's actually a very big quiche. Okay, so it's going to be in the oven for about 45 minutes to an hour. Okay, so the pastry is going to cook thoroughly, and I've made sure the pastry is nice and cold so the base gets nice and hot as well, and that's why I'm using a ring, so the pastry is right on the bottom of the tray. I've just put my extra cheese on top. Okay, and now that's going to go in the oven for about 45 minutes to an hour at about 160 degrees. Right, so our quiche has just come out of the oven. Okay, I've let it cool just for 10 minutes. I just took the ring off. All right, the pastry's lovely and golden, cooked throughout. I'm now going to leave this to cool down completely, okay?